So I usually don't review films that go straight to streaming, but when I watched this documentary on John Candy on Amazon, I had to make an exception. John Candy is one of my all-time favorites in comedy because of the heart he brings to every single role. When he died in the 90s, it hit everyone pretty hard, including me. So this review is not just a review of this heartfelt documentary, but sort of my 90s self saying goodbye to an icon. I Like Me is the new documentary from Colin Hanks and producer Ryan Reynolds that focuses on the life and career of actor, comedian, and arguably the nicest, realest man in Hollywood, John Candy. I'm actually part of a Facebook community group that is primarily professionals who have worked or do work in the film industry. And every year I see stories of grips, ADs, gaffers, people in craft services, you name it, who have a story about working with John Candy. Stories about how he would engage in conversation with everyone he saw, how he would make a PA who was about to quit because he felt so low on the crew totem pole and everybody treated him like crap. And Candy made him feel like a friend and really important to the crew. He'd do anything for anyone, and he had this power to restore your faith in humanity again. I love that Ryan Reynolds was involved with this film because if you look at a lot of his films, there's always a John Candy reference, especially when it comes to Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, my favorite John Candy movie, and his movie Deadpool. Everything from the iconic burn-up car to the book The Canadian Mounted, you can see from this film how much Reynolds and Hanks loved Candy and his work, and who he was as a person. The film has some amazing stories from some very familiar faces that Candy starred with in these iconic films of the 80s and 90s. People like Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, Eugene Levy, Martin Short, Steve Martin, Tom Hanks, and so many more. And of course, his wife Rose Candy, and his son Chris Candy, and daughter Jennifer. Hearing these huge icons from the 80s and 90s talk about this sweet, down-to-earth actor and family man just makes you feel warm and cozy. And if you love John Candy films as much as I do, you may actually shed a few tears like I did. There's a lot in this film that I didn't know about Candy, like his anxiety attacks, his lack of self-confidence, the men in his family dying so young. I think his dad died when he was 35, making him 5 years old at the time. And of course, his alcoholism that helped him cope with all of that. I've read some reviews for this film, which I only did because I wasn't really planning on reviewing this film at all. I don't really watch reviews of movies that I'm reviewing because I don't want anything to taint my thought process before I sit down and write out my review points. Some reviews that I read said stuff like, the documentary doesn't go deep enough into the dirtiness of Candy's life, and it feels like more of a eulogy, and to a certain degree, I can agree with that, but at the same time, I don't think that this documentary plays it safe and leaves out all the skeletons Candy had, because I don't know if he really had that many. The film does address a lot of them, but compared to what we see in Hollywood, they are pretty common. Not to say they aren't real or weren't real struggles for him and his family. I guess I'm saying that his goodness and kindness outshined his issues. Bill Murray at the beginning of the film says, I wish I could think of something bad to say about him. I hope you can find someone who can say one bad thing about the guy. I think that's who John Candy was. The film starts with his funeral and then goes into a sweet, long montage of footage of scenes from his films while Dan Aykroyd reads his eulogy. And it kind of gave me chills. Aykroyd describes Candy as grand, this grand man, and goes into all the aspects of who John was, and it's such a beautiful start and tribute to Candy. Then we go into John's upbringings that led to who and why he became the man he became. We get to understand the issues that he had and the insecurities that haunted him throughout his career. There's so much amazing footage of Candy from behind the scenes on film sets to some amazing family movie footage, and I just wanted more of that. Just seeing the footage from films like Uncle Buck, Home Alone, and my favorite comedy again of all time, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, had me smiling and grinning all throughout the film. There's footage from interviews, including where he's being asked about his weight in sort of demeaning ways, and you see the hurt and pain in his face and in his eyes, and it's just really heartbreaking. I wanted to reach through my 82-inch screen and give him a huge hug. In that sense, he is the character that he plays in Trains, Planes, and Automobiles, shower curtain ring salesman Dale Griffith. And I think that's why that film works so well, because he knows his character's pain. Steve Martin in the documentary talks about having to do a scene where he ridicules Candy's character, and the look on his face in the film was of real pain. And he had to keep telling Candy that, this is just pretend, right? It's not real. It's one of the most iconic scenes of the film, and it cuts so hard to where even Martin's character, Neil Page, immediately regrets what he just said. It's a beautiful scene, and it's where the title of the documentary comes from.
Well, you think what you want about me. I'm not changing. I like me. My wife likes me. My customers like me. Because I'm the real article. What you see is what you get.
It's interesting to see a piece of Candy in every role that he's played in all together in this one documentary. Seeing the beginnings of Candy's career with the troupe Second City, which also includes amazing talent like Rick Moranis, Eugene Levy, Harold Ramis, Catherine O'Hare, Martin Short, and so many more amazing comedians. It was so interesting to me, getting to see not only Candy, but all of these stars from some of my all-time favorite films start from the beginning was so nostalgic for me. Most of these people Candy worked with in film, like Catherine O'Hara in Home Alone, and Harold Ramis in Stripes with Bill Murray, and Eugene Levy in Splash. There's an amazing heartfelt interview with Home Alone's Macaulay Culkin, who talks about working on the set of Uncle Buck with his monster of a father watching, and Candy's paternal instincts kicking in on set that was really sweet and innocent. All set to the song from Uncle Buck, Rhythm of Life by Hugh Harris playing in the background, that always really gave me the chills at the end of Uncle Buck. I love how Hanks includes these iconic songs from these iconic John Candy films, one being one of my all-time favorite, again from Trains, Planes, and Automobiles, the song Every Time You Go Away, when Neil and Dale are carrying that huge trunk of Dale's to Neil's home at the end of the film. I mean, it's an amazing scene. Speaking of which, that being a John Hughes movie, there's a great touching segment about their friendship and how he wrote Uncle Buck for Candy and how they used to spend all this time together, families, celebrating holidays together. It's great. The way this doc is edited and shot and scored is almost all for emotional response, and it's great. At times it was hard to tell if it was the filmmakers getting me to that emotional place or if it was just because of who Candy was in his story. I Like Me is a beautiful tribute to a beautiful person who left this world and the industry way too soon. And there's so many from my generation who miss him still. This film made me want to watch all of these beautiful films back to back. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, Brewster's Million, Summer Rental, Uncle Buck, Home Alone, and so many more. When I'm down, I will watch a John Candy movie. I always have, and I always will. I mean, he was so important to the industry and to this world. When he died, they closed the 405 down. That's only happened one other time, and it was for a president. Anyway, it's a great movie. Check it out on Amazon. I'm giving I Like Me 5 stars because it's such a beautiful tribute to this amazing man who makes you want to be a better human. It's rated PG-13 for some strong language and some talk of drug use. It's a beautiful film that anyone who loves his films and him should absolutely see. I think my favorite quote in the doc was from Mel Brooks. He said, John Candy, he stuck acting in his back pocket and he behaved like a human being. And I think that's why everyone loved him, on film and off film. So I want to know your favorite John Candy film and why you love it. Let me know your favorite John Candy movie quote. I will talk John Candy all day long. Thank you for liking and subscribing, and remember, don't wait till it streams. Let's go to the theater and let's see it together. Except this one, obviously. Go stream this one now.
And I leave him and I start thinking about, this doesn't make sense that he's going back to his wife. It doesn't make sense. And I turn around and go back, invite him home.